On social media, Pakistani trolls and Pakistani intellectuals want to be taken seriously. On the global stage, Pakistan wants to portray itself as a savior of the global Muslim community. But unfortunately, even many in the Muslim world do not take Pakistan and Pakistanis seriously. Today, Pakistanis want to present themselves as a friend of Palestine, but probably Palestine knows what Pakistan's true character is. So let's try to understand this. On social media and elsewhere, due to their ignorance, deceit or foolishness, many Pakistanis malign India's image by portraying it as an enemy of Palestine, right? But do these Pakistanis know what their country's true character is? Do they even know who this man is and what he did? Do they even know that many Muslims will never forgive Pakistan for how thousands of Palestinians were butchered and massacred, and how this Pakistani man played a key role in that? Pakistan, those Muslim Palestinian families will never forget that torture. So this man's name is Mohammad Zia-ul-Haq. He is Pakistan's former president. And yes, General Mohammad Zia-ul-Haq is described as the Palestinian killer because this Pakistani dictator is also known for slaughtering Palestinians. Want to know what we are talking about? Well, Palestinians remember that horrific event as Black September. As described here, it killed more Palestinians in 11 days than Israel could kill in 20 years. The estimates vary, but up to 25,000 Palestinians, including civilians and refugees, were killed or massacred. Yes, Pakistanis, if you are watching this, please never forget this dictator president that you had. So, want to know why, how, and when it happened? Black September, 1970. Thousands of Palestine refugees are expelled from Jordan. But why were Palestinians living in Jordan? Well, read this. A great number of Palestinians had settled in Jordan after the creation of Israel in 1948, and over time they formed a strong minority and raised the question of an independent Palestine. King Hussein of Jordan feared that the Palestinians could endanger his kingdom. He therefore ordered an action against Palestinian camps. Now, I want you to focus on this. Palestinian refugees, Muslim refugees, mercilessly killed or thrown out by Muslims in Jordan. I mean, India faces a lot of criticism even though so many Muslim Rohingyas refugees live in India, right? And on the other hand, do you see how Palestinian camps with Muslim refugees were targeted in Jordan by King Hussein? Anyway, when the Muslim king ordered an action against Palestinian Muslims, there was a man who played a key role in that action. And that was this Pakistani man, Mohammad Zia-ul-Haq, or in other words, the Palestinian killer. Even though his role in Black September was a matter of debate in Pakistan, he ended up becoming a general and ruled the country. Yes, it is not just about his role in that atrocious massacre, but it is about the fact that later on he was allowed to become the president of Pakistan. Doesn't this display Pakistan's true character? But what else can you expect in a country where even today Muslims of Shia and Ahmadiyya communities continue to face persecution, violence and oppression? And then, with such a long history of persecuting Muslims, Pakistan wants to be taken seriously when it presents itself as the voice of the global Muslim community. On the other hand, as far as India is concerned, see this. India's support for the Palestinian cause is an integral part of the nation's foreign policy. In 1988, India became one of the first countries to recognize the state of Palestine. Now, listen to this man.
How do we see the situation on Palestine or our position on that? Our policy in this regard has been long-standing and consistent. India has always advocated the resumption of direct negotiations towards establishing a sovereign, independent and viable state of Palestine, living within secure and recognized borders, side by side, at peace with Israel. And I think that position remains the same.
As you can read here, India has always played an active role in extending support for the Palestinian cause across various multilateral forums. India co-sponsored the draft resolution on the right of Palestinians to self-determination and voted in favor of it during the 53rd session of the United Nations General Assembly. Apart from the strong political support to the Palestinian cause at bilateral and international levels, India has been extending various forms of economic assistance to the Palestinian people. 2 schools were built in Palestine in 2015 through aid provided by India. I mean, Just read this. See all this help that India has given to Palestinians. Massive support worth millions of dollars to Palestine by India. One-time project assistance worth $42.1 million for Palestinian nation building in education, health, women empowerment and capacity building. And let us not forget that Modi was bestowed upon the highest Palestinian award of the Grand Collar of the State of Palestine in recognition of India's enhanced support for Palestinian cause. And despite all this, perhaps due to the anti-India propaganda by many Pakistanis and others, India's image is being maligned. India haters should understand this. India does not believe in loving one country and hating the other. India believes in Vasudev Kutumbakam. It believes in universal familyhood. And that is why, back in 2021, here it was observed that India's position on Israel and Palestinian territories has a long history of careful diplomacy, and New Delhi has taken a very balanced position on the Gaza crisis, offering support to both the Israeli and Palestinian positions. As observed by Dr. Adil Rashid, it is ironic that Pakistan is today claiming itself to be a friend of Palestinians and is somehow linking their status to that of Indian Kashmiris, even though the only refugees displaced in the latter case are Kashmiri Pandits. Credit should be given to Indian diplomacy that has been able to convince the Palestinian leadership that its Israel policy is not hyphenated to its continued strong ties with Palestine. So yes, Pakistani propaganda or anti-India propaganda cannot erase the truth of the Dharmic and Hindu identity of Kashmir before its brutal Islamization, or the ugly truth of this man, a Pakistani man, the Palestinian killer, Pakistan's former president. See you again.